Hey guys, just finished watching Gifted Season 2, Episode 5, Aftermath. This episode was interesting right after last week's episode where they freed the mutants and stuff. The inner circle kind of freed the mutants, and they took a Rebecca twist from the mutant mental society, and we get right up to it, and we see that there's the news kind of turning on mutants. There's like protests in the news and stuff. They're kind of the mutants are protesting back type thing. People are kind of supporting the mutants, is what it sounds like. It really wasn't clear as to, I think pretty sure the mutants are protesting and stuff, and I think that's kind of interesting idea. So it's kind of but the news is kind of turning against them type thing, portraying them as as mutant terrorists and things like that and stuff. So that was kind of cool just seeing that on the news. We see that Andy kind of regrets attacking Lauren, and when he kind of confronts Polaris about it, he's like, I could have killed her. He's like, but you did it. She's like, but you didn't. So it's very clear that the inner circle has their grasp deeper into Lorna than they do have into Andy and stuff. And I think that's quite interesting to see, to play with that later on as things go, especially with next week's episode based off of the trailer and stuff. But I'll get to that at the end of this video. So we see that he's kind of regretting a little bit the way things are at least attacking Lorna. But we do see later on that he does truly believe about into the cause of the mutant underground, or at least what they're telling him. So obviously there's probably going to be a secret, in all these in all the shows like this, there's always that kind of, they're trying to make this good guy, one of these main characters, evil and stuff, but they're still a good person. These Lorna and Andy, they're still good people at the end of the day. They're just being tricked into doing this. So they're always going to be to see that. So I can't wait to see as to what that reveal is. What is the inner circle's ultimate goal? What is Reva's ultimate goal? What is it going to be, the end of it? What is the motivation behind there? What is she not telling Lorna and Andy type thing? And at what point is it, is it really nefarious, or is it just kind of, she's just too far gone? I think that would be an interesting idea to see that, to make it be like it's a relatable thing rather than just kind of, she's just being like, if she just turns out to be one of those, like kill all humans type thing, mutant are stronger type thing, then I think it needs to be more towards that. I mean, the whole thing with Magneto and Professor X is that, and that's what they're trying to do, obviously, with that, classic relationship between the two characters. They're trying to do that with the inner circle and the mutant underground. Obviously, mutant underground is X-Men, and the inner circle is more Magneto Brotherhood and stuff, and they try to do like the Genosha type thing. And I think it would be cool if they kind of did the Genosha Island kind of storyline. I think that's a great storyline, but to have more than just like Magneto really wants to rule the humans, whereas I feel like Reva, unless we're doing actual Magneto, and she needs to have more than just she wants to rule everyone. She wants to do that. I think it needs to be something else. So I can't wait to see as to what the kind of hidden thing is. And it looks like it might somewhat be revealed, or at least maybe Lorna looks like she's going to find out some things based on the trailer. We'll have to get into that later. So it's going to be cool to see that. See that Andy's he's somewhat a little bit of regrets, but he's not entirely regretful. So they end up bringing the mental hospital patients, the Mutant Underground, to the Morlocks. But they end up the Morlocks forces them to actually brand themselves, because that's the whole point of the Morlocks. They don't hide themselves. I mean, they're hiding, technically living underground, because that's where they're forced to go, to stay alive. But they're not hiding who they are, so they brand the ones who don't look, who are not an obvious mutant type thing. So I think that's really cool, and it's kind of interesting to deal with that. So Andy kind of ends up befriending Rebecca, who's the one mutant that the inner circle took from the mental hospital last season. So they kind of befriend them. Then they start attacking a cop car, and she pulls it inside out. He blows it up. And I thought that was going to come back and backfire them. As soon as they get back, Lorna was going to see about that. It's going to be all over the news, because the cops clearly saw that it was a mutant do it. They might not have seen, I don't think the cops saw Andy or Rebecca doing it, but they clearly saw when Rebecca was doing it, how her powers kind of, it kind of covers the, the car, and then it kind of turns it back, and then you see it again type thing. So they knew exactly that it was a mutant type thing. The police officers knew that that's what they were doing and stuff. So I think that's really going to be interesting to see, as to kind of where things go with that, and how their relationship is going to continue on. And whenever everything gets revealed to Andy, and maybe he goes back to his parents and stuff in the Mutant Underground, whenever that happens, which again, hopefully it's not to the end of the season, would Rebecca come with him, come with him to that, and how far, what is her stance on this? I mean, right now she's just kind of like a high of just kind of being free and of being, allowed to have a relationship with someone, allowed to, be outside and, use her powers, eat, drink smoothies and eat a burger or things like that, right? So she's just kind of like on this new high of doing things that she hasn't done in such a long time. So I think that's going to be interesting to see as to how that kind of fades away as the end of things go type thing. And, and it looks like they're kind of building, he's befriending her, maybe they're getting a relationship, they do kiss later on at the end of the episode, but, that could just be her just kind of, she's free, she finally gets to be able to do these things, right? So I wonder if it's just going to be, she hasn't, been with anyone else. It's not like she could choose. He's just the first guy she literally meets outside of the mental hospital. So I think that's really going to be interesting to see as to kind of how the relationship like that kind of builds up and how it evolves and where it goes later on whenever, he eventually does come back to his family and things like that, and how, and what are their plans for her type of thing. And it could be cool to see that. We see that the Purifiers end up finding the clinic. They wanted to attack the mutant rally and stuff, but Jace Turner was the voice of reason and says, like, no, you attack them, they're going to be the victims in that, and that's not what you want. You go and you find the ones that are fugitives, and, that's the way things are going to go. So I think that Mutant Purifiers is going to be interesting to see as to where things go with them. I like to have Jace Turner kind of part of that, is to see as to where things are going to go. But it looks like so far it's just a way for him to, to do what he was doing type thing, which is like, why would you, if he's just going to be able to get accomplished, like, I don't understand in the writing of this as to, you had him with the Mutant Underground, with the Sentinel Services, and he gets kicked out from that. His wife leaves him and all that stuff. But yet he's still going to go down this path with the Mutant Purifiers. But I feel like it's going to be interesting to see as to kind of where things go with that. I don't understand if the writers wanted to do this and have him as an antagonist again, just keep him with the Sentinel Services. But I feel like they wanted something else with this, and I still feel like there could be some redeeming with him. We even got the flashback at the beginning of this episode to him as a rookie cop, and they're kind of arresting a mutant just for being a mutant, pretty much. And I think that's interesting ideas to see, like, he understands how dangerous they are, but at the same time he's scared of them, but he's not on the level as the Purifiers are. He's not just, they all need to die no matter what. Mutants, the Purifiers look like they're just going to walk in there, and even if they find the mutants they're looking for, they're just going to kill him, no reason. They're not going to ask questions. They're just going to straight up shoot him with the rifle that they're walking around with. So I think that's really going to be interesting to see as to kind of where things go with that, with the Purifiers, and how their relationship with Jace Turner kind of continues on. And at the end, you end up finding in the files where they live, and it looks like in the trailer, Jace Turner will be attacking the Mutant Underground. So that'll be a cool fight to see how that goes on. We see that Polaris in the trailer from the next episode, she ends up also fighting against Reva. We see her, she's trying to leave with Dawn and stuff, her daughter, and Reva kind of uses her powers. At least it looks like that in the trailer. It could have been cut in a different way that kind of, she could have been protecting herself from something else, not Reva, and Reva could have been attacking someone completely else, and they're just cutting it that way to make it look good, right? To give more attention. So we'll just have to wait and see as to where things go with that. Hopefully, it would be cool to see Polaris do that, But at the same time, episode 5 of, we're getting 10 episodes, I think, this season, or are we getting 13? I think we're getting 10. Let's see. Yeah, we're getting 13 episodes. So okay, so we're not halfway just yet, but we're getting there. So I think it's going to be interesting to see as to where things go with that fight. And if Polaris kind of leaves, which in this episode she seemed more, devoted than Andy did. Why doesn't Andy leave too? What has she learned that's kind of stopping her from bringing Andy with her, or stopping Andy from wanting to go with her type thing. So I think that's really going to be cool to see as to where things go with that. But I also feel like it's a bit early on to have her. What's the whole point if you have her back by episode, like at the end of the episode 6, she's already going to be back. That's only halfway through. I would have liked to have seen it a little bit earlier on, maybe later. I'd say more like episode 9 or 10, maybe even 11. So you have a couple of episodes of her, on back with the Mutant Undergrounds to play with. But I wouldn't, episode 6 would be way too early for me to bring her back from the inner circle to the underground. So we'll have to wait and see as to where things kind of go with that, but it'll be interesting to see as to kind of how things unfold with that in the next episode. So let me know what you think, guys, about this episode in the comments below. What do you think about it? Season 2, episode 5, Aftermath, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have.
Subscribing.
Sometimes
Subscribing.
is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?
You're still here.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Peace.
It's over.